I put it down for my city, for my state, for my block, and for my whole damn hood. Cause the niggas on the streets are just so damn hood. And they know.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Heavy. It's your boy Speedy on the block. You know the fucking deal. We got a motherfucking legend in the house tonight. Let me tell you.
Man, stand the fuck up.
Stand the fuck up.
OG from 16th Street in Maple.
Rap legend, cook legend, Kool-Aid legend, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Just make sure it ends with Kingpin. You heard me?
Kingpin.
My brother Kingpin in the house tonight.
Yo, my dog, what's good?
What the deal is, Holland? What's going on, baby?
Hell yeah. How you doing? How you doing, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm really good, actually.
Good.
You know, cooling. Just been cooling.
Bulling.
Shit, you know, taking care of business.
Brought the young Bel Air in for you, brothers.
Hell yeah. It's a celebration.
Yeah.
What you sipping on?
What's up? Oh, sipping on some Buffalo Trace.
Ooh, young Kentucky straight whiskey.
On my bourbon shit.
I'm not gonna mind to dabble with that. I'll tell you.
I know you've been putting us on a good bourbon game lately. Shout outs to Obstacle with the smoky bourbon.
Sipperoosker.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, thank y'all for having me on here for real. Like, shit's fucking dope. Y'all motherfuckers popping right now.
No doubt.
Y'all proud of y'all building from the fucking ground up. It's going crazy, man. Like, I hear about that shit at work.
Yeah, it's been a blessing, bro. Like, once we got to start our first episode, we wanted you on here. Like, we have to have Kingpin to jump this whole show off. We wanted you. You're our primo. We know everything about you. And we chop it up with you constantly, but it's just like, even the streets know you, but there's so much that they don't know about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we was hype about it. Once we started, we're like, yo, off rip. We're like, yo, that conversation with Kingpin to get his history, that like just the whole rap history in Holland in general with you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even know what the fuck's, like don't even know the blueprint that you laid out for a bunch of shit to happen here in Holland rap-wise, There was, the concerts, the fucking Tulip Festival pumping CDs and shit.
Yeah.
All that shit.
It was different back then, but yeah, man, it was a lot of work, but it was fun at the same time doing it, and it was definitely an experience. And it's crazy now to like look at the way everything has changed from what we did then to how it gets done now, and the new blood doing it now, and so yeah, definitely it's been one hell of a fucking ride, and there's a lot of things in between that, I'm sure, you either had to be just with us, you had to be part of the crew, or someone close that we would confide in and tell you about, because
you had to be outside, in other words.
Yeah, you had to be
definitely. That's
outside.
A fact. We was outside,
exactly. And we were outside. Being that you're my cousin, our cousin, it's like we
was holding it down.
Like, literally, we
if he had a show around this bitch, we was holding it down.
From Riley Street to pulling up the fence, your ass be crawling underneath because you couldn't jump over with the big boys.
Yeah.
To walk into high-tech video.
Hey, but what happened once I got under that fit?
We was on it. It was the shit. What was those apartments called that you lived in back in those days?
They were just
Riley Townhouses or some shit.
Yo,
shout out to them. Doing some work in the
High School. I think it's what is it, Harbor Lights now?
Yeah, that's the ones with the red doors, right?
Yep.
Yeah, legendary shit. Legendary.
Yeah, we put some work in those townhouses over there for sure. At least I know I did.
Man, again, it's fucking dope to be here. I'm ready to get into it.
We're glad to have you,
y'all
brother.
Want to ask me? Go ahead and fucking ask me.
We're glad to have you.
I'll answer it to my fucking best. Make sure. The main point of me coming here for real too, outside of you guys, was like me coming up. I always knew that there was somebody that did something that made it possible for me or inspired me to want to do what I did. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's sometimes from generation to generation it goes different ways. Like me, I really cared about who came before me, and like not even just from town, like Michigan wise and then hip hop wise. So it's like, but I went out to find the history on it through certain things. So I hope maybe, maybe even if it isn't this year, down the road somewhere, someone's like, I wonder how this shit happened in Holland or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we're here for. We're here to give that. So speaking of history, you know what I'm saying? Let's get some history on you. Where were you born? You were born here in Holland. You was born north side or south side?
Yeah, I always say I was born here in Holland for sure. I was born and raised, but I was born on the south side, raised on the north side, and constantly back and forth between the two. Which is kind of dope, because for a lot of cats that I'm starting to later on in life, I realized it's like if you were born and you went to school or you were here on the South Side, it's like that's why like it's crazy to see like the unity of like the South Side we outside, South Side we out here. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's dope because like I was here on the South Side, even though I went to school on the North Side. I was out on the South Side every fucking weekend, for a long time. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, born and raised here in Holland, most def, all the way. And I would bounce back between 16th and Maple all the way up to Plymouth Rock, to the North Side and James Street.
That's the Plymouth Rock.
You know what I'm saying? But like I've lived on both sides, all off and on. So if I was staying out at remember my mom and dad's old ass house out at 128th Avenue?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Off the
saying?
highway.
So like being out there, always finding a way to come out here. But when we were younger, it was at 307 Riley, apartment 17. I even lived on this side of town. There was a time when we were kids. Remember, you used to live upstairs from me on 16th Street. Yeah,
South 16th Street. You know the fucking vibe.
And Speedy and all, and Mark and Josh and Veronica, they all lived upstairs, and me and my mom and dad, my sister, we lived downstairs, and that was right here on 16th Street. So that was, so it's like we've always been back and forth. It's not like I was straight permanent North Side. But to be fair, not to be on some other shit, I always did take more to the North Side. Like I always claim more, like with my songs out, I never left it out. I'd always repping that North Side, you know what I'm saying?
But as youngsters, I mean, when we were youngsters, me and Kingpin used to be out here stomping these blocks. 12, 11 years old, drunk as shit out that Big Bear, getting twisted at Creep's house. Remember Mondo Barrero? Shout out to Mondo
the
Barrero,
Big
yo.
Bear, if you remember them, shouts to you.
I'd get like an hour, 2 hours off a tether. I called Kingpin up. We'd walk over to Mondo's, getting twisted within 2 hours, walking back. Scummy. Grandma mad than a motherfucker. We'd be scummy.
We be fucking Big Bear did crazy shit to you as you get fucked up. We'd be sitting down there just playing cards, listening to music. And the next thing you know, fucking 40's gone, 240s are gone, and we're just fucked up.
Gone.
And then back then too, it's like, trying to get these girls or like walking home like, yo, make sure, like, hey, don't get caught slipping, but at the same time, not giving a fuck. We're walking, stumbling, trying to sneak in the house, stumbling, falling in the middle of the road, fucking snow angels type of shit. Like,
So what was the environment like growing up? You said you played both. You was back and forth between South and North. What was your environment like growing up? You being a hip hop head and shit like.
Well, for me, my environment, like home life, was always good, man. Mom and dad was always, took care of business. It was me and mom and dad, my sister Jen. Shout out my sister Jenny.
Shout out to Jen.
But like the environment, which really my mom and dad, y'all know my mom and dad, but for those of you that don't, man, my mom and dad were constantly on music. They were constantly on music, and they were always there was always a party every weekend.
Always.
You know what I mean? So I got pictures actually on my Instagram and everything of me as I was a little kid, probably like 6, 7, and I would be DJing. Like I would literally take the record, not the CD, the album, the vinyl.
Yep.
And I would play my mom would say, "Oh, mijo, put on Journey," or my dad would say, "Hey, put on Guns N' Roses," or even back then, like honestly, they exposed me my first actual rap song that I can remember was Rapper's Delight, actually, for real. The hip hop, and I mean, it came out years before, but that, when I heard that, I was like, oh, as a little kid, you're like, it's just a fun song. But then, and my dad always kept LL Cool J. He always had LL Cool J play. My mom would always play I Need Love, but my dad would play My Radio, Rock the Bells.
My Radio is the shit.
Hell yeah. And also Run DMC. They'd always play Run DMC. So, like, I was exposed to hip hop early on as hell.
That was your introduction to hip hop.
Yeah, but for music in general, that comes from my mom and my pops. Always,
just a general love for music.
Well,
that's why I say when I first heard of hip hop, I came to this crib one day. We actually went to a friend's house up the road, and he's like, "Speedy, you ever heard of this group?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "They're called Bone Thugs and Harmony." He's like, "You gotta fucking peep this shit out. This shit's fire." Yeah, popped it in, and this they were going. Bone was going, right?
Quick as fuck.
But he was keeping up, and it blew my fucking mind. Bro. Yeah. Like word for word, bro. And I'm like, yo, this shit's badass. At the time, I didn't think, oh, you have this gift. I'm just like, this dude's keeping up, and these dudes are dope.
We'll just be thugging, straight loving, fucking my people.
And that's when I think that's when hip hop came in our whole circle. Where we were just like, yo,
Yeah.
Like this dude's got something.
I mean, it was like, after, like obviously now you fast forward a while, like that passion of music always stuck around. Like I remember being at school and I was like, I can't remember the answer to this, but I remember this lyric from this song.
Same way. Lyrics stay in this brain. Like,
that, like I knew early on I always wanted to have something to do with music. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like my dad is like he's out working on cars, out mowing the lawn, like working. He'd go to work all day, come home, and then go back outside and go to work when he's at home, Mm-hmm. And I was more like in the house, video games, more into movies, music. And I think that plays a big influence on anybody because, now, later on we'll find out, like all the video games and the old movies and the cartoons played a big role. I mean, and for a long time, it was set in the back burner. Eventually it comes out later, but I mean, just like all that in general, like that's my generation was the type that started gravitating towards technology.
Yeah,
yep. You know what I mean? And
as it was coming out and shit.
Yeah,
what is this?
So
what is that?
So we were always around. We were always in a big, like when we were young. Speedy, my mom would pick us up, and I'd be like, "Can Speedy and Daniel and them come spend the night?" Yeah.
Shout out to Demon.
Yep, shout out to Demon. And my mom would take us to Hot Now, get us a big ass bag of fucking food, and tell us we can rent any video game and lock our asses in the, like y'all stay downstairs.
Yeah, stay downstairs. But
and
the
we
music
didn't
would
give a
constantly
shit. We
be bumping upstairs, constantly bumping.
We'd be downstairs just marching out and playing video games, but we lived in that apartment complex, right? So, and we had, remember we had like Nikki next door, Dale and Erica and Diane and then Miranda and all that. So our complex was full of girls our age.
Okay, talk about it. Talk about it.
Just know I was the Riley Street Slayer back then. So
in other words, not much has changed.
Yeah, so basically that's where it starts to come into play. We start to get older. That's when, I'm over here watching this dude knock him down. Making best friends worst enemies.
You was yelling timber.
Facts, bro. They kicked me out of apartments. I was laying all your daughters.
The Paquito Sanchito right here, his roots flow hella far back.
It's before I had feelings, though, ladies.
Yeah.
What was your inspirations to start rapping? Like what were your inspirations to want to start dabbling, or I think I could do this? Like, what took you there?
I know one of them was the fact that my cousin Mark brought me a cassette tape that said 3 letters on it, UGA.
UGA.
Later on, UGA. Later on, I find out it stands for Underground Arsons, but I pop the tape in and hear it, and it's these cats rapping about Holland. They're from Holland. It's on a cassette tape, and I'm like, it shit blows my mind. Because at the time, we're into like Bone Thugs and.
So are we saying UGA is the first rap group out of Holland? We would say
UGA, yeah. Underground Arsons is officially like.
I don't know, bro. I gotta dispute that because me growing up, the first shit I heard out of Holland was Eric Rubio and Lokes. Officer Phil, you blue wearing punk. You're gonna end up dead in the back of my truck.
All right, whoa. I mean, okay. But listen, if you weren't fucking involved in that life, how is anyone gonna know about that shit? I hear you. I heard them stories. I heard them.
What I'm saying is, as far as like, I don't know if those dudes ever put out an actual full album.
No, just for the status.
You know what I'm saying? So,
it was just for the
so what I'm saying is like these dudes were the first to go full force at it, like recording cassette tapes and labeling them, presenting themselves as a group. And it was crazy to me to hear it like, oh shit, like these dudes are from town, and so I play the tape back, I listen to it, play it back, listen to it. And then I'm listening, and as I'm listening more into it, I'm like, and they're Mexican. Danny Salas, aka Teddy Rexpin, or Mr. Extravagante, God rest his soul, rest in peace. True pioneer, man. Like the dude was a beast. Definitely. And the thing is him and Sean Young, and me and Sean are, I'm grateful eventually that I was able to link up with them, and we've collabed a couple times, and I was able to tell them like, yo, y'all really molded, like, like shaped my mindset is like it's achievable. I spent a lot of time. I didn't because they say their rap names was Rexpin and Nice.
Sean Nice,
yeah. And So, but then, I didn't know obviously who they were. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out who they were. And it was hard to even find the tapes. But I'm saying, like, to me, that's the foundation of Holland hip hop. And, like, that's just, like, I'm going to throw that out there like that. Cause that's officially what it was. I never heard of nobody else outside of that. But so that was a big part of it. And then our homeboy, Bobby Quintanilla, rest in peace.
R.I.P. Bobby Blanco.
Bobby Blanco, yeah. When we were kids, he would always be rapping, and we get drunk, and then he'd be like, "Come on, rap!" And I didn't rap very good at the time, and he would push me, and eventually I started like getting into it. And I really started liking it, and I started like actually taking it to the point where I was like, I have to write these. I got to start writing things down to like make it sound good. I wanted to hit that punchline. I wanted the crowd to be like, damn. So yeah, that was initially what made me start rapping.
So that's when you found out you could I could do this. I could rap. I could put these words together.
Pretty much, yeah. But it was just at that point, it wasn't my main, like, I'm going to be a rapper. It was just like some cool party shit to have, to be at the party and be able to just start spitting. And everybody would be like, "Oh, okay, rapping Steve, I got you, but that wasn't my main priority."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so,
do you remember? Not to cut you off, brother, but so like I said, me getting introduced to hip hop as long as like he did too. Do you remember that one time we were all chilling in Grandma's basement? That's where the room was back then. We were all chill. You remember when Theo Renee came down? He's like, "Yo, y'all motherfuckers need to listen to this tape," and he pops in Too Short.
Yeah,
that we're all, we're all
Blow Job Betty.
Fucking bananas. He exposed us 11 years old, exposed us to fucking Too Short. We're just like, yo,
you damn shithead bitch. Camera,
bitch.
action cut, motherfucker.
That's when I was like, I love fucking hip hop.
It's a rap. We fell in love. I remember my introduction to hip hop, but the first time I remember hearing a rap song was when y'all lived next door to Voss Boys. You and Aunt Diane and your mom and Mark, when y'all lived next door to Voss Boys in them apartments.
Yeah.
I was in the car with your mom. Mark jumped in and he's like, "Put this on." And it was fucking Boys in the Hood. And that fucking piano started playing and shit. I'm like, what is that?
Remember Kevin used to always bump Snoop Dogg?
It was a fucking style. Bro, after I heard that shit, it was a rap. Bro, I'm in the fucking basement, liable to see a party ball getting passed around or some shit. Young as fuck. Like, yo, I just fell in love with hip hop. You got Critter and them down there breakdancing, Feechie, Demon, breakdancing and shit. I'm just like,
remember
yo,
when Kingpin tried to attack inside the building?
Yeah, I fell in love with hip hop at that time,
hip hop, baby.
That's crazy. So you R.I.P. Bobby Blanco, he started telling you like, yo, pushing you on and shit. So you start writing raps and shit.
Yeah, but like I said, it wasn't like for real. Like I'm not writing songs or nothing.
Right.
And it wasn't like I was going to school and being like, all right, gotta write this rap. It was like when we were like, I do it in my off time when we would be chilling, so that way I would know he would come over on the weekends, and that was what we were about to do. We were about to get some beers, and we were about to have DJ Bustin' Up come downstairs, set up the ones and twos, and and start, That's how it always went. So it was like just to have it there, so that way I didn't look stupid when he'd be like, "Come on, bro, get on the mic, Steve. Get on the mic, Steve."
But just to be clear, you were a DJ before rap.
Yeah,
before rapper.
That was my main.
Okay,
thing.
Take us through that. What? So as you said, your parents had the vinyls and shit. You said your parents had vinyls, all that shit. So you used to fuck around with it.
Yeah. So what happened was I really wanted to be a DJ. Bomber was a DJ. DJ was a DJ. Bomber was a DJ too. He had turntables, and Mo had turntables. DJ Bustin' Up and
DJ Bustin' Money Mo.
My name was DJ Bustin' Up and
Money Mo.
And I remember I went out and I got a set of turntables and a mixer, and we would all ride to Grand Rapids to the Hip Hut, and we would go out there and buy all the vinyls. We would go there and we would get DJ equipment, and Bomber would get aerosol can tips, like different spray tips for when he would bomb buildings and shit, and
ABC, Aerosol Bombing Crew.
Yup. And we would also buy bootleg breakdance tapes. And that'd be down like Bomber would be Pete. Bomber and Loopy Romer would be Pete doing a piece in the basement, everybody be watching the breakdancing things, and I would have my turntables down there, and I would be sitting there practicing how to DJ. So I would, and to me, I was like, oh, I gotta have a dope DJ name. DJ Melt the Wax. DJ something right now. And then out of nowhere, I was like, you know what? Nah. DJ Scratch and Sniff was born.
Yo, it's official. Talk
and I mean,
about it.
and I was fucking, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I got fucking good. Like, I was like,
I remember getting let in the fucking joint from this brother talking about, yo, I'm out here big time DJ.
Like, we threw legendary parties, bro. Like, me and Bomber did a party at JJ's crib out here on the north side, and it was a fucking
Crasher?
bash.
Yo,
like,
that's
bro,
the party
it
they
was
still
upstairs,
talk about, and they were
the
14,
keggers and
15,
shit.
they still
it
talk
was
about
upstairs,
22
downstairs,
years later.
outside, inside. Me and Bomber had our DJ equipment set up side by side in the living room, up elevated. And I mean, like, but that was my passion. But the reason I actually, like, when Bob would push me to rap after I started like really DJing, I would rap during instrumentals as part of like my DJ gig. Just to keep the party going. So we mixing up, do some good songs, and then put on a break beat or just an instrumental. And then, I really would be on there doing the yes, y'all.
Yeah.
You don't stop.
So-
everybody pay attention. Let's go. They call me Kingpin, and you start going in, and then,
Controlling the crowd.
but people would be like, oh shit, that's dope. So that is when I made it at a point to start writing rhymes.
Okay.
Just so I would have something extra dope to put in when I
Right,
would DJ.
right.
We would DJ
So is that when the famous "Fuck About the Local" song comes into play? You saying you made that for the party?
Yo,
No.
we starting beef tonight.
I
What's
didn't
the
make that
vibe?
for the party. That
Okay,
I made.
okay.
That was
I gotta relax.
That was actual beef at school. That was us at school beefing
Okay.
with the Vato Locos,
Talk to
and we had straight beef with these motherfuckers for a long time, and it always stemmed from they didn't like us because we didn't speak full Spanish. For real. Like, it was basically like the Mexicans that were from here versus the Mexicans that left seasonally.
Yeah.
For real. And but we'd fucking always go at it when we see each other. And I figured one day I skipped school with DJ Buster and I, and we're sitting downstairs in his room, and I'm like, what's the fucking,
What's the
we had just gotten
vibes?
into it with him. We had just gotten into it with him at school and fucked him up. And I was like, what can we do to fucking like make everybody laugh at them? Well, what the fuck can we do to
Bro,
humiliate
I
these
just picture
motherfuckers?
right now
scoreboard.
in the basement, Money Mo, Kingpin.
Yeah.
Fucking walk around with
we're
swollen
sitting down there,
hands.
and
I gotta get
and
back at these
I got this
motherfuckers.
pad and
What
paper,
can I do?
and we're sitting there going like we couldn't go on the internet and get a beat, or people weren't
This was
making beats.
before
So,
internet days.
We're going through Mo's album collection, and I'm like, get all the singles and let's just look at the B-sides, all the instrumentals. And he's going and going, and then we come across Tupac's Hail Mary, and he puts it on.
Wait, time out. My bad, not to cut you off. So you telling me I never heard this song?
Me neither.
So you're telling me this went off of Hail Mary beat?
Yeah.
Knock it the fuck out.
We're gonna remake this song
Where's this
just
song
above
at?
it.
Where can we hear this?
You know who might actually have it, bro? To be honest
Bomber?
with you, nah.
JJ keeps
nah,
everything. Might have to take.
Scott
He keeps
Hassing.
everything.
Scott
Hassing?
Hassing, aka Twat.
AK Twat. Yo,
Twat
Scott,
11.
I know you doing big construction shit right now, but if you got that fuck about the
He
local,
did, bro. Scott had a lot
We
of
need that.
cassette
We
tapes.
need that on Live from the Land.
But so anyway, we go through and we find that one, and Mo had just bought a brand new mixer, and we didn't know that shit came with a sampler on it. Well, I didn't. So I'm sitting there, and we're listening to it, and I'm trying to write this verse, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's the chorus, whatever. And Mo's like, well, come here, check this out. And he says like, he says something stupid, just like, mic check into the mic, and he hits the sample button, and then all of a sudden it's like, he's like, watch this, and it's like, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, and then he's like, watch this. It's a little knob, and it's like, mic check, mic check,
Slowed it down.
mic
Did he
check.
just
So yeah,
DJ screw that shit?
I was like, so you can just like repeat whatever. He's like, yeah, I can take a sample from me. So you speak into the mic, I'll record it, and then once it's done, I can loop it or repeat it or whatever. So I was like, all right.
So not to get our house shot up, but are you telling me Mo was doing that before Screw? Is that what the fuck we're hearing
It
right
wasn't
now?
screwed. It wasn't screwed
Yeah,
and
I
child.
don't
It was
think
just
so.
sampled.
I don't think so.
what he did was anyway. So he was like, "Well, what would you think of this song?" And I was like, "Man, fuck about the loco for real." Like, and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro." I was like, "That's what we're gonna call it." And he's like, "Fuck about the loco." I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Say that shit into the mic." So I was like, "All right, so fuck about the loco." And then he looped it, and sure enough, when that fucking
when it dropped,
hits, fuck about the loco.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Fuck about the loco. Yeah. And then he slowed it down just a notch so my voice got deep. Fuck about the loco.
Oh, we got an anthem on our hands.
So then I was like, when I heard that, it's
on our
different.
hands.
So when I hear that, I'm like,
I feel like we're about to bring back some 90s gang beef.
Take that bet, let's do this, okay? And back then, there was no fucking
Let's be clear for the back then. What year is this?
This is like 96.
So we ain't here to
this
start
is
the
like,
bullshit.
yeah,
this was history already written.
This is 96.
This
This is like Tupac's already gone. Because Machiavelli came out in 96, the year he
Hail
got
Mary
shot.
beat, you said, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
nasty.
this is 96. It's Machiavelli or the Hail Mary is like that shit at this point. And like I said, we didn't have no beats or nothing. We had to use these. But anyway, so and also at that point in time, there's no studio. There's no computer to record my tracks and this and that. We legit had 2 turntables, the microphone, and a cassette deck. And we took a tape, popped the tape in.
The essence.
And I rehearsed the verse over and over. And he's like, "You ready?" I was like, "Yeah." He hits record on the cassette tape, puts the needle on the record, and he's sitting with his thumb on the sampler.
Talk to
so
him.
when the beat drops, then he's like, I can see him counting. He's like, 1,
Yeah.
Fuck about the loco. Fuck about the loco. Fuck about the loco. And then he's like looking at me. He's like, fuck about the loco. Like when the bar's about to end, then he boom. Then I go in and I just start rapping.
I need to hear that.
I don't remember that, bro.
We don't got a fire extinguisher. Relax.
But I'm like, I remember I start going in and I fucked it up. I fucked it up. And because we're recording with like an old karaoke mic. You know what I'm saying? So I fucked that up. And we had to go back and redo it, and we like legit. We did it for like an hour until I was able to get it from start to finish. And then once we got it down, we played that tape back, and we thought we were fucking like. I was like, "Yo, we're about to get a fucking record deal." You know what I'm saying? Like off of it, like not even thinking it's a diss, not even thinking it's a diss song. Just feeling yourself to the utmost. That I'm like, "Yo, I'm about to fucking get mad chicks." I'm about to go to school, and these motherfuckers are gonna be like, "Oh my god, you got your own album?" And I mean, it's just one song and shit. But like, we get it, and he's like, "Do you want to make a copy of it?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we get another cassette tape, dub it. So I have one, he has one. So then I was like, "Make a third one." And he said, "Okay." And we left that one there as the master copy, so in case our cassettes got 8, we had the original one, and then we took it to the homeboys and played it, and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck, Steve? That shit's fucking dope." So then we made more copies, and we took it to school, and we passed it out.
So how many copies, if you could say, how many copies are out here of this hidden gem that we don't know about?
Honestly, I want to say maximum, like, you remember when you could buy cassette tapes?
Yep.
And you go to Sam Goody, and they came in a box of like 20?
Okay.
I think we had like 20 tapes, bro, and we made them, and we gave some to their girlfriends to give to them so they could hear it.
This one blows my mind, brother. My guy's out here beefing hard with this squad. This dude comes to me, makes a diss track, and hands it out like it's a fucking
Number one single.
Like, y'all gonna see the
It's
fucking
official.
beef we got
This shit
going
is
on
showing
right now.
I tell you what though, we did that, and it fucking pissed them off, bro. Like because we gave it to their girls. We're like, "Yo, give us."
Imagine if somebody dropped the track on us like "fuck them Southside motherfuckers" on rap on site.
Hey,
Where
bro,
they at?
Everybody knew that fucking song, and it was dope. And then all of a sudden one day we're chilling out, and these motherfuckers pull up, 2 trucks deep, people in the front, people in the like pickup back thing, and they're heated, bro. And they get out, and but little do they know, our basement is always full of us.
So that's where we stop the story. Let's not go over too much.
But we will say this.
So
Shout out to White
anyway-
Boy Chad.
Yeah. So anyway, we get out there, boy, and we
Legend.
get to put in the boots to them, and I mean, but because of that fucking tape, and now, like I'll say this now, obviously there ain't nothing with any of them. We're all older now,
Right,
whatever.
yep,
but
yep. God
I don't
bless.
know. I mean, I wish I could find that tape. I really do. I wish I could
We
find
are
that
gonna
tape.
we are gonna do
I'm like,
heavy investigation to find that
H-Town,
tape.
if one of you Northsiders got that tape, by all blessings,
I mean,
bless your
maybe
boys
Mo
with that
might
tape.
even still have. I don't know. Mo's used to be.
Oh, well, let me ask this: do you remember the lyrics? Because we can make it.
I
happen.
don't remember none of that, bro. I ain't
shit.
gonna lie. I ain't gonna
Alright,
front on you. I do not. I don't.
All right, so all right, okay, so you pretty much your first song was a diss track, going hard
Yeah.
at the ops and shit. So then you make your first a song officially and shit. So then what led you to the first album?
After like during all that process, I meet. That's when I meet Beast and Nemesis.
Shouts to Beast.
Beat Creep.
Shouts to Creep.
Creep the Young Apollo. Brad, Brackett, and we were always together, just coming up with music. And at that time, that's when Bomber came around and was like, Bomber's straight up. I ain't gonna front. Bomber's a hip hop head. Bomber had the big. He was big
graffiti,
into his
break
DJ
dancing,
thing,
all that shit.
big into breaking, big into graffiti. I mean, to this day, Bomber is the only certified motherfucker I know that actually had graffiti wars. That like him and this other dude.
Wherever they travel, they tag up.
No, like here in town, these motherfuckers
no
were wreaking
shit.
havoc on
shit.
buildings in town, climbing. They were like climbing that building next to the old Long John Silver's, that has like the little sewing.
Yeah, the sewing
The
business
sewing
next to
bit.
it.
Yo, Bomber climbed up there and put the dude's name. Fuck, what is his name? I turned on the tip of my tongue, but he put his name and he put "suck my dick," and he made an aerosol can that looked like a dick. And then that dude went back at Bomber and put, I forget where he climbed, but he put some like, "Tell your bitch I said thanks," compliments of the panty dropper. And like, bro, like they were bombing
Beat
back
Street
and
out
forth.
here.
But anyway, so Bomber, hey, shout out to Bomber. Bomber's
Shouts to
mad hip hop.
Bomber.
He did all of it. The only thing he didn't do was rap. He did graffiti good. He was dope as a.
I'll tell you what though, he put a squad together for
Yeah,
sure.
and he did. He came to us like, "Yo, y'all really think y'all can make it happen?" And we're like, "Yeah," because we started getting a buzz. Like I would be in your face at any party we were at, just rapping. And Mondo and Jordan would be right there with me. Brad would be right there with
flowing.
me. We all ended up getting our first place together out in Zealand. Actually, it was Brad's homeboy that had the place, and then we just took the fucking place over. He just stayed in his room, but we would use that shit to create music all the time. And so Bomber noticed that we were like really out there trying to do that. So he came at like, "Yo, if I can get y'all in the studio, could y'all do it? Put some work and make a fucking album." We're like, "Yeah, hell yeah, bro, straight up." So he was like, "All right, I'm gonna get this money. I'm gonna hustle this up, and I'll get back with you." And he sure as shit did, man. The motherfucker went out there and did what he had to do. He would pick us up in a van, and he would have little Max was a baby. He would have Max in the car seat in the back, and we'd have to squeeze all in there. And he found a place in Grand Rapids through mutual friends, and he took us to Blazing Beats in Grand Rapids, and we recorded the first gathering out there.
The first gathering.
Yeah, but by that time too, we like, it's funny because we were making so much noise just as a party crew, just as people throwing parties and performing at our own shows and never having real songs. We were just freestyling and rapping all the time. And before we did the recording, we were getting so popular just off of just being who we were. Like we were acting like we were a real record label, and we were like, we need to get one more person. And we heard about this kid named Age. And so we went to his crib and we met him. We talked to his mom. We're like, "We're here to sign your son. We're
Official business.
Yeah, so we go into his room and he spits for us. And I'm like, "Yo," I'm looking at Bomber like, we're not leaving without this dude being part of the crew. Whispering it to him. Then I look at him like, "What else you got, bro?" Because I don't know yet, but we knew we wanted him. But anyway,
Right.
So that's how Age, shout out to Age,
Shout out to
Adrian
Age.
Wilson. He's out right now. Actually, he's an actor. He's been out in Cali for a while.
No shit.
Yeah, he's an actor. He's got movies. He's got some movies under his belt.
Yo,
And a lot of commercials.
before you got here, when we were chilling, he was playing some songs and he ran through some shit with him and Age.
Nah, Age was a dope rapper.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
bro.
Age was a dope rapper.
Bro, Kingpin just brushed me up on some
AG,
bangers
that
before
dude
you got
that
here,
dude was
bro.
dope. He was
He
dope.
was running through some bangers. Shouts to James T. Shouts to J187.
So we did the first gathering and we recorded it in like 5 sessions. We all got together. We wrote all the songs, figured out who was gonna be on what, and we went out to that studio and like that's the first time we ever heard the expression "red light is money," and that means like when you look up, they always had this red light that said you're recording, and as long as that light was on, Bomber was paying for everything. So that's why we got into the habit of learning to perfect it at home before we got there, so we could do everything in one take. And so we go in there and we lay all our songs, have a blast doing it. But then, all of a sudden all the songs are get recorded. So we're like, dope, we got an album. But now we're like, this is like right when CDs are starting to come in. So we're like, what do we do? Byron's like, we're going to have the first fucking CDs ever in town.
Yeah.
He's like, and not only, because then people are burning music, like MP3s and shit, but nobody's like actually... Like when you go buy a CD back then, it's printed on the cover and everything. So Bomber hires an artist. We didn't take pictures. None of us were on the front cover. It's actually a weird ass internet
No,
image.
but that was a dope cover though.
Yeah.
For the first gathering. That was a dope cover. That shit was hard.
Yeah. But I remember after we did it and we got the track, we got the official CD, and we sent it out to CD duplicators. And we sent, it's like that was the company. We sent, and they did everybody. Like if you looked in their catalog, they actually did all like No Limit. They did like all the independent labels and shit. So anyway, we sent it out to them, and then it comes back to us in a big ass box right before Cinco de Mayo, and we stay all night, literally putting the CD into the case, building the big block CDs, not the slim jewel cases, but the regular CD cases. And we build them all, put the trays in the back, put the little pieces together, and then we take the shrink wrap, put it on there, shrink wrap.
Yeah, because I remember getting out the joint and we connected.
What year was that?
That was
2002.
98, like 98, 99.
Oh,
when
album?
the first gathering dropped.
I got out the joint in 2002.
And when you got out, this was already in the streets, and you're like,
yeah,
yo,
he's
what
like,
the
yo,
fuck?
he picked me up first day. He's like, yo, come out to my crib. I got a crib out here in West Side, blah, blah, blah. He's like, got a couple homies you need to meet, part of my crew. We're going to show you, I want you to listen to our album and shit. So I get there, and me, fresh out of prison, didn't trust his homies. I'm fucking like, yo, these niggas are trying to move on me. Like, yo, what's good, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm about to fucking move on them. He's like, hey, you might not want to. Mondo and Jordan, right? And they're like, they're respectful as hell. Like, he's like, I know you're going to stand your ground, but these dudes are going to stand their ground too. But they're not like that. Like you're taking things wrong. You got to get out of that mentality already. Anyways, all bullshit aside, he showed me their album.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
So that was your introduction to him coming out the joint. You coming out the joint.
That rap, because I didn't know he was rapping. See,
Right.
when I used to get letters from Kingpin, it'd be like, yo, I DJ Sketch and sniff. So I used to brag in the joint about him. Like, yo, my cousin's a DJ, and when I get out, this boy's gonna be big. He's a DJ. You know what I mean? So when I got out, it was like rapping. I'm like, rapping? Like, you don't rap, you DJ.
Yeah.
I heard that first gathering. I'm like, yo, this boy is bad.
Hell yeah.
And
I
to
remember
be
because
honest-
I'm younger. So when that shit dropped, I'm like, damn, I'm telling everybody, because I'm still on the block though, like going Mac rack and shit. I'm telling everybody like, yo, my cousin's rapping, yo.
Yeah, and
You know what
I
I'm
used to,
saying?
so I started jacking him. I'm like, off rip. Like, dude, this is my
of
cousin, he's
course.
going to be big.
Yeah.
We used to go out to Ben Harbor so he can
Ben
record.
Harbor, yeah.
We'd go to Grand Rapids so he can record. And I'm in the back car with him and Brackett. Fucking hated Brackett.
Fresh out the joint.
Off rip, I
Yeah.
don't like Brackett for nothing.
Fresh out the joint though,
You know what
right?
I mean? One, he was a Cruzal. Two,
Yeah.
I just didn't like his vibe. And I'm just like, I'm the man, you're not the man.
But when we did that one, we did one track on there. And it's funny because some like when we did it, I was like, we got to make something that's catchy, that's gonna pop or whatever. So we did a song called West Side Michigan Pimpin'.
Classic, baby, classic.
And that song
excited when you bring
is
these
the song
bangers
that like took off crazy. Like I remember, so after we did all that work with the CDs, the next day Bomber loaded us all. We had 1,000 CDs. Everybody got a backpack. We all took like 100, 150 each. you know, because we still had some, but we fit what we could in our backpacks.
You just hit
We
the
went to
street.
that Cinco de Mayo with Walkmans.
Hit the streets.
And
Hell
we
yeah.
would, walk up to people and be like, yo, what's up? My name's Steve. I'm from a group called Lazy Ass Bastards. That's
remember
the
that
first
shit.
gathering. The name of our first group was
Right at the
LAB,
Civic Center, right?
The Lazy Ass Bastards.
Passing them shits up.
Yeah,
Right at the Civic
and
Center.
the reason we called it the Lazy Ass Bastards was because we said that we were gonna be so dope at doing music, we were gonna make so much money that we wouldn't have to do nothing, and we would just end up being some lazy ass bastards because we would have all the money in the world, and we could. You know, it's like just funny shit. Like we'd be like, we could pay motherfuckers to bring us food, like
Light
before
work.
Uber Eats and all that shit. You know,
Yeah.
like we were like, but anyway, that's where the LAB, the lazy ass bastards came from. But okay, so now we do all that. We spend the whole fucking day at Tulip Time downtown, and we're selling CDs, and we don't have a set price. It's not like $10, whatever. We're like, yo, well, how much you want for your CD? Whatever you want to
Like
pay
a
for it,
donation,
man.
whatever fuck
So
you can
like,
donate.
they're like, okay, you know, some people were like 10, some people were like 5. We even sold some for 2, gave a few out. And long
Is
story
this
short,
the year that Lupe and Roy won the tug of war contest?
allegedly.
Exactly,
So,
allegedly.
hey,
I did in the pen.
we long story short, we sell out. Like nobody has CDs, and we all meet up and we're like, yo, I ain't got no CDs, you ain't got no CDs, and we have all this fucking money. We give the shit, you know, we're on our way, we're like, all right, let's get back, let's go get more CDs. So we're all as a group walking back to Bomber's crib, and he says to us, hey, okay, you know what? I put all my money into this. Give me the money. I'm going to count it up, and that way we can, you know, if we want to divide it between the rest of us, or if we want to have a discussion to flip it back into more, you know, more studio time to make a new album and
Right.
make more copies
Get
of the
back
new.
in there.
So we're like, dope. So we give Bomber the money, and we're walking up to his crib. And as we're walking up, we're like, why the fuck? What's going on? There's a whole bunch of cops here. And we fucking walk up to his crib, bro, and this motherfucker's being raided, and he's not home.
On the way back.
Oh yeah, we're like walking up to his crib, and we're like, "What the fuck?" And he's being raided, and all of a sudden they spot him, and they're like, "Oh, there he is, Mr. Martinez, freeze!" You know, and we're like, "What the fuck?" And he's
Dirty
like, "Oh
dogs.
shit!" And they, you know, they come and get him, they arrest him, and he has money on him, and they take all that money. And they're
Which
like,
is the
"Oh,
money y'all just
This is
gave
the
them.
money, all the money we made."
God damn.
All the CDs we just sold. And mind you, as we're walking back to him, to his crib, we're at the Civic Center. He's all the way over here on 18th and Columbia. And as we're walking back, we're legit hearing people driving by with their windows down and our shit's coming out their
Bumping
car.
that shit.
I'm talking about like every other fucking car is banging that shit, and
So
we're
it's
hyped.
up. So
And they
it's
don't even
up.
know it's us. We're at a 4-way stop, and we're waiting to see if they'll let us walk across the street, and they're bumping our shit, and we're just like, oh shit. So they take the money, man, and they will not give it back because they consider it dope money.
Oh,
They say it's drug money,
motherfuckers.
and there's no way to prove. You know, they're saying we can't prove. In hindsight, yeah, we could have actually probably pursued that and been like, we physically have the CDs, but they were gonna be like, well, where'd you get the money to make the CDs? Type of shit. So Bomber goes to jail. We lose all the money. Our momentum's at all-time high, and then all of a sudden we're just cut the fuck off and dropped all the way the fuck down to nothing. And Bomber goes away, and we're just stuck there like, what the fuck?
Is that when he took out to Arizona?
Yep. And that's when Bomber, you know, he
He was
went
trying to be a
in,
pastor's child.
and he was eligible, instead of doing time, he was eligible for a boot camp or some sort of program that sent him out to Arizona. And he took that, and he was gone for like 2 years, 2 or 3 years, something like that. And in that time, you know, me and Beast and Creep always stuck with each other. And then Age, you know, went off to do his own thing, and Brackett went out in his own thing. And we didn't have, you know, we didn't know what to do because Bomber had all the plug. Bomber knew the people from the studio. We knew him from being there, but like that was
his plug.
B's dude, you know,
Yeah.
and so then he's gone, and it was almost like someone just hit the fucking light switch and was like, well, hope you had
Party
fun.
over.
That's a wrap, fellas.
Party over.
And I mean, we did our thing. Like by that point, we had a name, so we still had the CDs. So me and Beast and Creed, still had the CDs, and we're still pumping CDs, but we don't know how to get to the studio, who to call for the studio. So we're just basically selling those CDs to make money to have for us, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was the end of that.
So this is where trust fund comes in. Bomber's
that's,
back.
That's the end. Yeah,
from
that's
Arizona.
the end. That's the
So
end
listen,
of the LAB. But that's the start of like us getting a name, like official. Now we go places and it's like, yo, I heard your fucking CD. That shit's dope. Fucking one of the DJs for a place in Grand Haven, up in Grand Haven, they had a club called Lucky 13. And we went there one night and they were banging Westside Michigan pimping. And we're like, what the fuck? They're playing our shit in there.
Outside.
You know, we walk in and they don't even know the fuck it's us. So there's no like walking in like, oh, it's you guys. We're just like, oh shit, that's me.
You just gotta live in that moment.
Sure it is, you know. And but so I'm like, yo, we can't give up. Like we're fucking dope. You know,
Right.
we have what it takes, but like, what do we do? And so we just kind of stuck to ourselves, and we would still go to events, still travel. We would go out to fucking Fenville and perform out in Fenville. We would go out to fucking Grand Rapids. But it was weird because like we still never realized like we weren't cool with like Ant and them from Blazing Beats at that time. Like we were cool with them, but we didn't know who the fuck they were for real, for real. So there was no more recording music, and nobody in town had a studio, so we couldn't do anything like that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I remember when the first day Bomber came back from Arizona. It was the first fucking night. Actually, he was off the plane, and we're chilling at Joey Cabrera's house, and we're getting drunk. It's me, Demon, and some brothers at the time. But anywho, Demon tells me, he's like, "Yo, Bomber just touched down. He's about to slide," and I'm like, "Bomber?" And he's like, "Yeah, Chris Martinez." I'm like,
You been gone?
I'm like,
Because he been gone?
Yeah. Like I haven't
So
seen.
you're
Chris
fresh out the joint and he's coming back.
Yeah, and he's just coming back. Like
Okay.
touchdown. This is maybe a month after I've been out. Just touchdown.
So you like Bomber from back then?
No, I'm like Chris Martinez. Who hangs out with that dude? I didn't know that these guys were going through this whole hip hop shit with it. I didn't know the whole background story. When I knew him, it was in middle school, and I'm like, this dude wasn't cool. He couldn't hang out with me and Loopy, and then like he wasn't cool. I didn't know that their whole crew came about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So going to school with him, I just didn't think he was. He was more like a good kid. Both parents, like he was one of them kids.
Yeah.
So he showed up with a fucking keg. I shit you not. This brother showed up with a fucking keg, fresh off the plane, son.
It's lit.
Fresh off the plane.
It's lit.
And dude's like, yo, somebody come help me grab this keg out the back. So we go out there, grab this keg. I tell you this, bottom line, wake up to Demon pissing on my head that morning. Swear to God. Everybody.
True fact.
True fucking
We
fact.
fucking know
Not
about
ashamed
it.
to admit it.
Yo,
That's how
shouts to
fucking scummy
Demon.
we got. Demon waking up, pissing on my fucking head. Caught a fucking right jab to the jaw.
To the jugular.
I'm so mad right now.
That's when Bomber came back in the picture. But I remember him telling me that night, what's up, Speed? He's like, yo, your cousin's got something, and I'm gonna make this shit happen. I'm gonna make him make his dreams.
Bro,
And I'm
I'll tell you
like,
this.
I didn't believe the hip,
Yeah,
like
you
the
thought it
rapping
was just
shit.
party talking shit.
Yo,
Yeah, I'm just
B-
like, all right, and he made it happen.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a
B
fact.
heard like while we were being there, putting in that work, recording it. He would always tell us, and back then, you're just like, whatever. I mean, you take it at heart, but as a grown mass man now, like the shit that Bomber would tell me back then, like he really is like, he'll be on that shit about like, oh, like, I believe in you. You guys can do, like, you see his videos that he posts.
Yeah,
Like,
motivational and shit.
That motherfucker really believed in me and the rest of the squad. And he did what he had. Like, he fucking straight up hustled. This motherfucker did work. He went out and he'd be like, how it costs $150 for, like, the math. He'd be like, it costs $150 for an hour and a half of studio time. So I got to sell this many. Like, I had to sell that.
Yeah, no, that was all his money. That was all his money in the picture.
But like,
Definitely.
he would literally, I remember at one point he was like using hours in the studio, comparing them at the same price as a zip. To be
Street
like,
talk.
all right, I gotta
Talking that
get
street. We
this
from the
off. I
streets.
gotta get this off.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm forever grateful. You know what I'm saying? And to have somebody like Bomber in your corner to, that really actually pushed you to succeed. And then I get a call out of nowhere and he's like, yo, what's up, bro? I'm back. I'm home. I was like, oh, what's up? He's like, what are you doing? I was like, nah, man, just been grinding work. He's like, well, where are you staying at? I was like, I got my own crib. I got my own apartment.
I love that
He's like,
apartment,
yeah?
by the way. PSA,
He's like,
I love
all
that
right.
apartment.
He's like, well, shit. Hey, brother. Hey, I'm home. I can't stay at my parents' house. I need somewhere to go. Say less. Bro, come, you come stay at my crib. Fuck. I got 2 bedrooms. It's just me.
Hell it down.
You know what I'm saying? So he came through, and within fucking 3 months of him being home, just letting him get on his feet and me just work, whatever, is when we started developing, like, well, what's up? Beast and Creeper always around, so he'd be like, well, what's up with you guys? You guys still this and that. And we would always tell him, yeah, we got raps, check these out. But he's like, all right, you guys got fucking dope. You guys got better. And this motherfucker, bro, fresh out, back home. Let me call some people. Let me see if I can get back on.
Bro.
What do we need to do to get this going? And he's like,
Trap
but
house
Bomber,
extravaganza.
So he got back and you were showing him shit, and he
bro.
just was like, damn.
Bro, like he was like, yo, he was like, this at a point where I'm like, I don't know, he always knew about like his dad, his pops and them always had the band so he was musically inclined with the equipment. So he was like, look, fuck going to somebody else. Why are we gonna go somewhere and pay them all of our money when we could take all that money? We just gotta grind a little harder. I gotta grind a little harder. Give me a little bit of time, bro, and I'm gonna do it. And he would get the catalogs of like music equipment, and he would just circle shit. See this, KP? We need this. You see this? We need this. You see this? We need this. We need an Avalon. He would always talk about this Avalon. I don't think we ever ended up getting an Avalon like a. When he hears this, he'll fucking laugh. But anyway, we got a fucking computer, and then he's like, "Give me a little bit longer. I got a little more work to do. We got a little." He fucking out there just trapping, bro, for real. And
bro, you know how many nitro parties we had at this with fucking OG Luke, dog? Nitro parties. I'm talking about 2-3 days straight partying. This brother spitting fucking rhymes in the fucking kitchen.
Back to back.
Bomber hustling nonstop 24 hours a day in and out the fucking crib.
I just, I want to say this.
Security, like always, standing in the forefront of the door. My after JJ underneath us.
And this is what I always appreciate about this story. Like me knowing it personally on my side is what you just said. Them back here doing that shit while him putting in the work to make this shit happen, because he's like, yo, you see what I got going on right here? Like, motherfuckers are dependent on me.
He was making it happen.
Yeah, like, motherfucker, you see this room right here? Everybody's dependent on me to make this shit happen. And you hear that shit? They're hungry. Yeah. And he was, like you said, busting plays.
Yeah, he was
while
making
this
it
shit
happen.
happening to make it happen.
It happened. And then once again, they're kicked in the nuts. Tell us how, Kingpin. Tell us what happened to the apartment.
Yeah, man, like, overtime to get everything that we needed. And me and Bomber had a conversation, and he was like, yo, we're going to get this going. I'm getting this equipment little by little, and our kitchen turned into a, like,
studio and shit.
Yeah. You ever heard of this thing called Pro Tools? No. It's what the standard for recording.
Right.
We just got to learn how to do it. Okay. So we, me and him, like, we're out here doing it. He's going hard as fuck, and I'm just doing my part. Like, we're dabbling. We got to, bro. Fuck it. We are out there pushing. We're we're hustling. This dude is putting me on, like, yo, here's some money for your pocket, but, like, remember the dream, remember the goal, remember the dream. This is what we're doing.
But this is what we're doing.
Like, this motherfucker's a coach for real. And long story short, man, we're like on the precipice of we even name it. We're like, well, we got to come up with a name for this, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, Suicidal Records, Kill 'Em All Records, Illest Records, some whatever. And then Bomber just looks at me and he says, "Do you know what a trust fund is?" I said, "Oh." He says, "Well, check this out. What do you think about this? Trust Fund Records." And I look at him like, "What the fuck does that even mean? That's fucking, I don't get it." And he breaks it down. And he's like, a trust fund is something that you put away for your kids, so when they come of age, they don't have, like, they're taken care of. I'm like, okay. And he's like, so think about it. The work that we put in today, we're putting in today so our kids and their kids are good. He's like, I'm talking generational wealth. And that's the first time I ever heard that. That's always the type of shit he was on.
Generational wealth?
Generational wealth. Like, something that we do for ourselves today. We might have a good time, have fun, and if we get if we get to the point where we're doing our damn thing, our kids would be able to have whatever. You know what I mean? When he told me like that, I was like, that shit's fucking dope. Like, what you just said to me sounded like some Corleone shit.
Yeah, real boss shit. Real talk. But I say that shit often. That credit, generational wealth, shit like that ain't fucking talked about as often as it should be because we all grew up in the struggle, so that's all we know is the struggle. It ain't that often that somebody gets out the struggle very well. You know what I'm saying? I like that way. It's crazy.
Yeah, Bomber's getting fucking. They're kicking the front door. Bomber's fucking literally running out the back door. Remember that shit?
Yeah, because we had this thing, and if you went out the back, it was like a regular backyard, and then you had to go through a little trail, and back behind there was the Van Ware and Hardware parking lot.
Yep.
So there was always a car parked back there. So it was just run, jump in, and go. So when they came, they're only on foot. They're not thinking about that. So they have to fucking, so he goes, jumps out the back, dives through the back over there, and they're just thinking they're going to get him on foot. He's already in the fucking car and fucking gone. You know, so they can't get him.
Yep. So they were raining, and he dipped on them.
Well, we got the heads up. Kingpin had just enough time, so he got to hit the horn. Yeah, bro.
He got quick, made a call. I can't make it home for dinner, clean the house.
JJ ran upstairs.
Set off the
JJ ran upstairs. I remember this shit. JJ ran upstairs. I was upstairs chilling with Alicia. It was me, Alicia, and Bomber. JJ ran upstairs like, they just pulled over Kingpin. They bought the raid this bitch. Not even, we had literally maybe 12 minutes, 10 minutes.
Before they got the spot.
To empty the fucking spot. They never raided JJ shit.
Right. They went to the spot.
Me and Alicia grabbed everything we could, ran down to JJ's. Bomber's still up there trying to collect shit because he wasn't going to leave shit behind. They kicked open the front, Bomber's out the back. And y'all downstairs with it. And we're downstairs with most of the shit. Yeah. And we just remember getting a call from Bomber like an hour later, like, bro, I'm in a fucking swamp right now, bro. I'm over here, boom, boom, boom. He's kind of by any big, like way by any big.
Yeah, but gone.
But, bro, and he's laughing though, like a G. He's like, bro, that
was the life back then.
And they didn't find shit, bro. They didn't find a fucking thing, bro.
Shout out to Bomber. Hell yeah. Shout out to Bomber for that shit.
That was a trap life.
That's a classic trap life story.
That's what we went
That's why I say, bro, when I was growing up in school, I always looked at Bomber like not that guy because he had both parents. Like, he was a good kid, but he always seemed like he tried too hard to try to be part of us. You know what I'm saying? So I always played him as, nah, bro, I only fuck with the realists, like White Boy Chad, Loopy, like, I only fuck with real motherfuckers. But what this brother showed me since I met him when I got up there, I'm like, yo, I see what
that was before when you first met him in middle school.
Yeah.
So now you're out the joint and you're like,
that's two grown-ass men who went through their own trials and tribulations.
And he's put it in that work for the foundation.
Bro, I see it, and I respect him ever since, bro. It's just like, brother, this dude's a hustler.
How could you not? Look at how much he's accomplished just right here out of Holland.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And that's crazy because when it goes to the rap shit, to the weed shit, to the hustling shit. But enough about shit. He was a b-boy. You know what I'm saying?
I heard about
Bombetta. He was known for breakdancing and shit.
We're about to interview Bombetta soon. So we're not going to put all this
out. For sure.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of shit.
So with that, I went away for like 2 years at this point now. And I come home. And when I come home, everybody's there. But they're like, yo, we need to go. This needs to happen. Fuck this. What are we gonna do? Byron's like, what the fuck? What are we gonna do? I'm like, we're gonna do this shit. And that right there is when we start fucking we meet Pedro or Tro and AV, Beat Down Productions.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We would go, and he was very techie, and he knew at Albert,
AV was
Bomber's cousin. And Dro was his homeboy, but while I was gone, they learned and mastered that equipment. So when I came home, we had it set up at Dro's crib, at his trailer. And we would go to his crib, and we would fucking start recording music. And he had it sounding good. And then they were like, yeah, we're down to do this, but we want to be Beat Down Productions. You guys are trust fund, but we want to bring our homeboy into the fold. And it's me, Mondo, and Jordan Bomber. And we're like, okay. And you're like, this is our homeboy, J187.
So before J187, before you guys started building Trust Fund at a full maximum capacity, it was you, Beast and Creep, and Bomber.
Yep. And then
Then
when I came home,
comes J187.
and when I came home, then Bomber was like, this is my cousin Dro, or my cousin AV, and his homeboy Dro, and they're engineers. They make beats and they record.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, and then they were like, yeah, we also got a homeboy. His name's J187. I was like, all right. So they bring him over and he raps for us, and we're like, oh, fucking crazy.
Fire.
So anyway, that right there, boom, that meeting was like, boom, this is it. We sat down, we're like, all right, fellas, this is what we're doing. And back then there was no producers. Like Dro and AV, they were starting to make beats, but to be honest with you, like at first I was like, I don't like doing beats, you know. But this was still around the time mixtapes were starting to pop, so people were rapping over other people's beats. Mm-hmm. So we grabbed a whole bunch of beats that we really liked, and we started doing like, you know, same shit. We get together, we start drinking, get smoking, and we start writing. And then we're like, oh, this song's gonna be dope. We record it, and boom, fucking Hostile Invasion.
Fire.
Like, we recorded this album, and we put it all together, and then Bomber's like, what are we gonna call it? And I was like, bro, this city's about to get fucking hit. We're about to just like go in on it. Like, it's gonna be some, like, we're just taking over. And then I just sat and I was like, we're about to do a Hostile Invasion.
Nice. And
he's like, he looked at me and he's like, yo, that's it. And I was like, oh, he's like, Hostile Invasion. That's the album. I was like, yo, sure.
So how many albums did you guys put out all together?
You dropped back to back.
Like, all together under the Trust Fund umbrella. Under the Trust Fund umbrella, 10. And it was Hostile Invasion 1, Sky's the Limit, Lights Out, Michigan Massacre, Crime Pays, Hostile Invasion, Sky's the Limit, Michigan Massacre, Crime Pays, Lights Out.
Well, Crime Pays was your solo, right?
Yeah. And then Hostile Invasion 2, and then J187, God's Adopted. And then I did, we did a tape with DJ Mo, and then I did the Takeoff, and then I did...
What song was DJ Head?
Underground Kings.
Underground Kings.
Yep.
My favorite was Michigan Massacre.
Yo, if you get a chance to go, if you got any of these CDs, go to Hostile Invasion 2, me Kingpin. My first track I ever did with Kingpin.
Yes, sir.
Keep it real.
Yo, I used to have all them fucking CDs, but I feel like my fucking bitter baby mama at the time threw them out just because she fucking hated me.
Because she knew your cousin was shining.
But I feel like that was she heard it to this nigga. Throw away his cousin. She heard it a couple songs. She threw them out there. Alicia, if you got
we recorded these albums, man, and you can tell progressively. Like the first album, we're just like excited as shit, and we're just recording. And they don't sound the best in the beginning by any means, but we were fucking happy, and we got the covers designed.
And that's Hostile Invasion.
Hostile Invasion, and we put that shit out, and
it was the shit.
Boom, it went, and then. Sky's the Limit. We got into that. We started like we're feeling ourselves now. Like we got people.
Is that the Sky's the Limit after the award or just before the award?
Sky's the Limit is
the hip hop award.
Like you know hip hop award like that.
No, it's before. Sky's the Limit is before. I think we went all the way up to Michigan or to Hostile Invasion 2.
Before the award, before you got that award.
Nice.
Talk about that award. Let's talk about that award for the what was it? Grand Rapids Latin?
Yeah, Grand Rapids Hip Hop Award. See, there was a Grand Rapids Hip Hop Coalition, and at this time, man, there's like fucking DJ Head DiBiase, John Jelks, the icon. Shout out to John Jelks. He's the owner of Ambiance Lounge, out Grand Rapids. They were associated with DJ Drama. DJ Head is one of the fucking DJs, like there's DJ Holiday, DJ Drama, and that whole pack of DJs, and they're a Michigan guy. So he was always with, DJ Head was always with Drama and Willie the Kid and Loud the Dark Man.
Shout out to Willie the Kid and Loud the Dark Man. Yes. I caught a shooting charge the night they came to S Club Holland back in 2010.
Yo, you know what? Talk about it because you already.
That's how outside we were. Kingpin, Trust Fund, performing at the S Club. I caught a shooting charge while Willie the Kid, a lot of dark man were here. And shouts to them. Shouts to me. We was outside. We was outside.
Southside, we outside.
Southside, we outside. You heard him. And that was Kingpin.
Is this big body Benz over here?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So
it was lit.
we had been recording a lot of music. Obviously, there's like all of our, we got most of our albums out. We became residential performers at the Brick House in Grand Rapids. But even
official. Hey,
why do I get so fun? I'm sorry to cut you off.
I was just in the car holding it.
When
Like,
you
yo,
talk
stay in
about
the
this
car.
shit, I get super excited.
I couldn't even go in the club. It was stay in the car and hold it.
with you. And I feel like we're going
to get to this point, I got to shout out my brother-in-law, Paperboy, because
Shouts to Loud Paperboy.
while we started doing, while we were recording Hostile Invasion up, I was like, yo, I think I need a manager. Like we're starting to get going, doing whatever. I recorded my first solo album, and my homeboy is, he's been with me forever. He's Byron's best friend, but he's just such a business savvy individual, and he's just one of the most realest, down to earth motherfuckers in the world. And I love this dude to death. To this day, we're still close as shit. My homeboy Mick and Loud Paperboy Management was born, and I was the first signee on there, and they roll with me. So, when we get to Hostile Invasion 2, is like when he kicks in full gear with us, and we decide, like, we need to get the fuck on the radio. We need fucking, like, there's nowhere else to go. Like, how far can you go just putting out mixtapes and whatever?
Right.
And so we come up with this thing, and I'm shopping. At this point, we got people sending us beats. And we get this cat named Omega fucking sends us his beat, and it ends up being Banger.
The Banger.
Oh.
Yeah. And
I'm on a 4.5.
What's up from Grand Rapids?
J-Dot.
J-Dot.
Man,
In the club with the snub, that's a banger.
Snuck up in the club with the snub, that's a banger. Yup. And
I remember I was on the block when that shit dropped on 104.5.
So
I was like, listen to my cousin.
We record that song, and instantly we're like, yo, that's it.
It's lit.
Dude just knew it, right? So we decided we got to get to 104.5 and have them play this. And we already had a plug with them because they had came and done the remote opening of the lab. So we submitted to them, and they accept it, and it goes on the radio.
Okay, what's the cat's name from? You gotta shout him out because he getting mad about Holmes in the freak show. Holmes in the freak show. You get mad about the Kingpin just fun.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, they played a huge part in our success and our.
Shouts to them. They let y'all go up on the radio station.
Yeah, we would go to the radio station all the time, and they would come to visit us, and it was a blessing.
They
and
definitely
cool
fuck with TFR for real.
I love those dudes. And anyway, I remember we submitted it, and they were just like, "Don't worry, we're gonna play it." Holmes, if you guys know Holmes from the Freak Show back when you were a kid, they'd be like, "Thank you for calling 104.5 WSNX. Holmes in the Freak Show." But I remember he called me one day and he said, "Hey, Kingpin." I'm like, yeah. He's like, "All right, bro. About an hour now, we're gonna be playing your song, so just be ready." I'm like, "All right,
it's lit.
Okay."
It's lit.
So we're
from the land.
Yeah. So he tells us, and I call everybody and tell them, but we start going. And I'm actually in the middle of, I'm driving. I'm stopped at the fucking train at Wesco. And I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, "All right, West Michigan, stand up and make some noise for your hometown boys coming out of Holland, Michigan. Kingpin, Beast of Nemesis, J-Dot, Trust Fund Records, Banger, world premiere." And that shit goes on. Oh, man, everybody has that. If you ever watch people, like, for real, like, talk about their first time hearing themselves on the radio, that was that moment straight the fuck up. Like, I mean, I'm stopped at a fucking train. I turn the music up, get out of the fucking car,
banging that shit.
Just singing all that shit. And people don't know what the fuck is happening. Nobody the fuck knows. And they're probably listening to it, but they don't fucking know it's me. And I'm just happy as shit. And then my phone goes off, and it's my sister, and she's like, "Brother, you're on the fucking radio. Do you understand? You're on the radio. I'm here with mom and dad, blah, blah, blah." And then fucking, "Oh, yeah, thank you." And then boom. I look, boom, it's Bauer. Bro,
talk that shit.
Bro, do you fucking hear us right now? I mean, that was just like that moment, bro. Like, I'm like, yo.
That's that vision he was looking at. That's what he sees. That's what he sees right there.
That's why he was making
like,
I'm here with Paperboy right now. I'm here with Paperboy right now, bro. And do you hear this shit, bro? I'm like, yeah, man, we did that shit. Fucking did that shit. We made it. You know, at that point, we feel like we fucking, you know, we're like, oh,
hell yeah,
and in a sense, we did because
104.
that led to club appearances. That led to us just being walked into clubs, being served VIP, everything, and that also ultimately led to us being nominated for Record Label of the Year at the 2007 Grand Rapids Hip Hop Awards.
Awesome.
And we were known for Mobbing Deep. We Mobb Deep.
Brought that back in the 80s.
It was like Paperboy's squad, you know, fucking our squad, always together everywhere we went. And I remember they called us and told us you're nominated for like 2 or 3 categories. I was nominated for Solo Artist of the Year. We were nominated for Single of the Year, and then we were nominated for Record Label of the Year. And we lost out. I lost out to Civi My D, I believe it was, who was a badass at the time. He was fucking popping in Grand Rapids. And the single went to Fireproof, which was well deserved. Shout out Fireproof, Mo McCoy, and J Love. But I remember we were 2 rows deep at the Grand Rapids Hip Hop Awards at the Wealthy Street Theater. And they fucking called off. They went up there and we didn't think anything. Like, at that point, we were like, nah, fucking DJ Head and them got this or whoever got it. We're just there to support at that point. And they fucking, just like an award show, they had the envelope, had the presenters, and they fucking opened the envelope and they're like, man, they nominated us, they played the song, and we're like with everybody else nominated, and then they tell us, and a winner for Record Label of the Year, Trust Fund Records.
Record Label of the Year.
Oh,
come on. Bro, you don't deserve flowers on the H. Nah, all these brothers flowers from the H. Yo, live from the land.
Thinking of what the fuck to eat and where to go after this award show, and then they say that, and we all just stop and we look up and we're like, what the fuck? And
it's
2
lit.
fucking rows.
It's lit.
Just fucking
H-Land, we in this bitch.
And
you hear me?
Me, Bomber, and Paperboy, and the rest of the squad, we walk up on stage and everybody's screaming and cheering. And I remember, you know, I get the award, and I was just like, you know, I remember standing up there and telling them, like, hey, we just want to say thank you to everybody. You know, we're just some kids from Holland that had a fucking dream, pushed ourselves, worked hard, came up, and the fact that y'all, all the way from all parts of Michigan, voted for us to have this, it means the fucking world to us. You know, thank y'all, God bless. Trust Fund Records, Holland, Michigan.
And that's blessings, bro. And that's kind of what we started this shit for, just to give you them props, because nobody knew that shit. That's what I'm saying. We here to give the land this history. Nobody knew the blessings and the flowers that you deserve. That's why we kind of started this. Just when it comes to this rap shit, like you said, what under the umbrella of Trust Fund Records, we got about 10 albums. Then you got solo albums from you, J187.
Yep.
You know, it's like there's so much like. I'm a hip hop head, so I fuck with music in all aspects, especially hip hop. So in town, you got rappers coming up with shit, and I'm like, dope. I support it. Anything that's local, if you're official, you putting out some music, and it's going. I got no reason not to fuck with it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck with it regardless. If you official and you putting out whatever you're doing, I'm gonna support everything official. You know?
Exactly. And
so music. Y'all motherfuckers brought Record Label of the Year awards back. You brought all this shit back to the land and shit. I want that to have light on it. A lot of people don't know about it. You know?
I mean, that opened the door for a lot of things. Like off of that, we went on a tour. We went on a tour.
Florida, all that shit.
Yeah, we went on a tour across the country fucking 2 times.
Talk to them.
We fucking Florida, Chicago, New York, fucking Texas, Colorado, LA, fucking New Mexico.
Shouts to JJ.
Like,
yo, bro, I was just gonna say
shout
to JJ. Shout out to my dog, JJ Davis, aka Nigga Brady, aka the Mayate, the fucking chosen one. Oreo. This brother, you want to call it. This brother was you guys' number 1 promoter.
Hey, you know what I tell you this?
Yes, sure. Yes.
James Davis.
Bro, he was you guys this day. He has honor out his film that he has in his closet.
JJ.
To this day.
I'll tell you this. JJ.
And he won't take $1 less.
JJ deserves all the flowers. JJ put in so much work, always pushed us.
And continue does for his brothers.
And so did Roy.
Definitely.
So did Roy. Roy was there with me a lot.
Shout out to that brother.
Roy was the one that kept it real. Like, I would write a song, and show it to him, like, Chafas. This shit's whack, bro.
Yeah.
How would you say it?
Shout out to
Get out your shit.
But JJ would be the one.
JJ was the promoter of Trust Fund. I don't know what anybody says. That brother helped you guys down.
There's a lot of stuff that wouldn't have happened without JJ, man. And you know what? I love that brother to death.
And Roy. Roy was the enforcer. Roy will be on your ass like
Roy
this is whack. You and I both know you can do better. Get on your fucking J.O.
I mean, eventually, I do want to shout out a lot of people, you know, when I'm getting the story out, but there would be no road stories, no Trust Fund without fucking Roy and JJ, for sure. And Jerry and Viju. You know what I'm saying? Those two brothers too. And Sapal. Those motherfuckers always do everything in their power to make sure.
Everyone that had a hand in the foundation. Shouts to y'all. That's why this is possible. We wanted to start this shit to get flowers.
And
for sure. Yo, so not to I'm sticking on the same track, but who's the Chino that you did a track with that was fucking fire? Tie-dyes.
Tie-dyes from Stockton, California.
Yo, big blessing.
Tie-dyes and Daniel D and Mac G.
Mac G. Yeah, Mac G. That's a fact. Hell yeah, that's a fact. Yo, when you came out with that number, when you played that banger, you're like, yo, check these guys out. They're dope. They're from California.
Gangsters.
Tie-dye. Yo, and you introduced him, Mac G. He came in the house, right? Yeah, he recorded at the lab and all that shit. Right on the north. There you go. Lead us into that. Not to keep jumping stories, but Mac G in the lab. Just talk about the lab in general. For the people that wasn't outside like we was, explain the lab to them.
The lab was a brainchild of Bomber and DJ Mo and Loud Paperboy. They wanted us to have an official spot, like how you think Deuces Wild. You know what I'm saying? Like how everybody had their hangouts. You know what I'm saying? Like on Goodfellas, when C and all of his homeboys had their spot, the lab was our spot. And
it was our spot.
And sure. It was a mixtape shop. We had our recording studio in the back.
Clothing, shoes, recording studio. Barbershop. Weightlifting contest between Roy and Bethel.
When you were coming up, this is when everybody, like, when nowadays, like...
You had to go to the shop.
Yeah, everybody knew the lab. We did, we pushed. That's when DJ Drama and them were going through all that shit eventually towards the end, but we used to actually have to call DJ Drama himself, DJ K Slay, R.I.P. DJ Smalls. The biggest DJs that you know of now, we would Bomber would be on the phone with them, like, yo, we need to order 15 of those tapes or 100 of those tapes or whatever. And, I was always trying to work with different artists, and Paperboy knew, like, yo, there's a broader audience. We have some dude named Tie-Dyes. He was I can't remember if he's lost or Cambodian, but he's from Stockton, California. This cat sounded like Pac, like just the tone of his voice or whatever.
See.
But they were like, yo, because half of our spot we were half Mexican, half Asian, and they were like, it'd be a good look. This dude's a dope MC or whatever. So when they played me his music, I was like, this dude is so fucking dope. So we ended up, Paperboy put it up. We ended up linking with them and recorded a couple tracks with them, man. And they were fucking some of the coolest collaborations I had. I did from Murder Mitten to Cali with them.
That was a fucking banger. That was
Gangsters and Players with them.
Gangsters and Players. That was a fucking Tie-Dyes killed that shit.
And I did Gang Don't Stop.
That was Now I'm about to go.
So those dudes in their own right were fucking big celebrities out in Cali, because they, back then there wasn't very much of a big, a lot of Asian rappers or whatever. They were fucking doing it, bro.
This is where I'm gonna test your fucking mind in your if you remember shit. Remember them cats from Shady Records? We brought them into Holland. Y'all brought them into A-Town. We had that party we had that fucking performance at Firehouse.
Yep.
Remember? And we ended up bringing them to Mickey's after party and his sisters, and we ended up throwing that whole house
party. Beat a bunch of people up.
And they were like, yo, y'all motherfuckers are legit.
Yeah.
What are them brothers' names, remember?
Yeah, that's actually my homeboy, Hook. His name's Jose Aquino. His name is Hook. Back then, he was with Sinister. His artist was Sinister, and they were Sin City Records. They're from New York, from Lower East Side, Manhattan. Shout out to LES. And there was Sir Smoke a lot, and there was fucking Sinister and fucking Hook. And,
but they fucking Shady Records, right?
Yeah. Hook was actually an A&R for Shady Records. Hook worked and to this day, he was Shady Records, and then he went on to be a big part of Def Jam. He signed a lot of artists in Def Jam, and then now he actually just started his own label called Bozo Free. Stay above the circus.
You see what I'm saying? That's why I say that's what
we met them in New York at a Latin rap conference, and we linked up with them, and we were all just so fucking like, alike. You know what I mean? That we plugged in with them the whole time we were there. Me and Hook just chilled and Bomber connected. We talked. We were hanging out.
Do you remember that shit happening?
We were like, yo, we should link. And we were out when we were in New York at the time. We were promoting Crime Pays, my first solo CD, and we were out there. We performed. This was a lifetime achievement for me. We went to that thing and we got to perform at SOB's, which is a legendary hip hop venue out in New York. Everybody, Tupac, Nas, Pun, Big, everybody has touched that stage.
Yeah.
And so for me to be able to be out there and perform and touch that stage was one of the biggest fucking blessings ever. And but we made we had a good friendship with them. So when we came back and it was time to do the album release party, we're like, yo, how fucking dope! Who the fuck has ever brought anybody from out of state to do something for with them?
In the mecca of hip hop.
Yeah, from the mecca of hip hop, bring them to fucking Holland, Michigan.
But that's what I'm saying. Holland, Michigan. Who the fuck knows about Holland, Michigan? And you got brothers from New York, Cali. You know what I mean? Like,
that really tapped in.
This is why I say, like motherfuckers don't understand the OG, the legends of what Trust Fund brought to Holland.
Exactly.
Holland
That's what this is for.
Like, nobody was doing that shit, yo.
Yeah.
You had people from Shady fucking Record, Eminem the Boss.
Jews from Black Wall Street.
Jews from Black Wall Street, gang shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is what Holland Brothers Trust Fund was bringing to Holland, Michigan.
Eventually,
the fucking
right?